My name's Steven Chee and I do a lot of people-based work, fashion, beauty, people on location in the studio. With the R5 Mark II coming out, Canon were talking about how great the new autofocus was. If someone was going to say, choose a challenge for a competing photographer, I would have come up with this one because I think it was very difficult. Fast moving, low light situations, quite erratic movements. So I came up with like a breakdancer, you know, back from the 80s with the limbs and arms flying around. If the autofocus was going to keep up with it, I think this is a great hurdle for it to get over and prove itself. The autofocus today on the R5 Mark II was incredible. Like when you see the dancer moving in real time, you can almost not see his face. Pictures were all sharp and you could see the focus square on his face. As he twirled, it would flash up and then disappear and flash up as his face came in and out of view. Yeah, I was thrilled. The other thing that surprised me today was when I went from stills to motion, the autofocus was just as good. Like I feel like we haven't sort of had that in the past. This new autofocus system, you know, perfection. The new sensor basically allowed for much faster processing during the day. In real time, when you watch him twist and turn, like there's a lot of momentum, so you wouldn't be surprised to see some swayed, bent limbs at those extremities, but every limb looked normal. Okay, perfect. Having 30 frames per second in the R5 Mark II, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's good to have. The pre-shooting and pre-recording function I think is super useful. It's just like that little bit of insurance that you're going to get the gold and come home with not a sad story about how you missed the critical moment of some event. To have that little bit of insurance at a laggy finger would be great. I think one of the great features of the new camera is the ability to use higher ISOs. Especially now that, you know, we're doing more video and stills. You've only got 2 minutes for this shot, 6 minutes for that shot. And to be able to remove the constant lighting game that we sometimes have to play is a real win.
Just do that, the twisty legs again.
The biggest surprise of this camera for me was that it actually had C-Log 2. That was my biggest win. How much more dynamic range it has, highlight retention. To now have that, we've got more to work with, play with. So I love, love, love that. With the 8K 60p raw light, it allows me to integrate that with my other cameras, you know, especially with the C-Log 2. That is also matched in my C500 Mark II. To have another seamless join of gear, it's fantastic. It also has noise reduction, which enabled us to shoot at higher shutter speeds to freeze the dancer's movements and actions. We tested it on one of the frames. I was really impressed at how it did clean up the noise pattern almost to non-existent. To have that option is a huge win. With the R5 Mark II, I was actually a little bit dumbfounded as to how good it was. If someone was going to say, choose a challenge for a competing photographer, I would have come up with this one because I think it was very difficult and the camera, it just performed really well. Better than I thought it was going to. I've had Canon for nearly 20 years in my kit. Over those 20 years, I've been around the world. I've been, you know, to hot places, to cold places. They're very reliable, they're fast, efficient, and they're very helpful. Me having them that long speaks to that. I just want to use it in my day-to-day work because I know it's just a better machine and makes my life easier. You don't want another hurdle, you just want a solution. And if this is a better solution than what I had, that's what I want to use on my next shoot.